Hello everybody and welcome to this edition of the Black Country History Hunter. Today I've got my good friend and colleague Terry with me. He's going to be helping me around the site. As you know, as I've been speaking about the last few weeks, it's going to be on the workhouse system, and this is one place we're at today where the workhouse is still actually in situ. There's hopefully going to be buildings back there we've not been in yet. Hopefully there's going to be something there. There is private land here, but looking at it, it's quite derelict. So yeah, we're going to have a look around and we're going to see if there's anything remaining from the old workhouse that was here at Seisdon, Trisel. I know it's not exactly Black Country, but we're going to be talking about Black Country examples such as Wordsley, Dudley. Everywhere had a workhouse from the 1820s through to the 1915, 16. It was one of them things where it was actually being used to provide the poor with a test. So if you couldn't go in the workhouse, you weren't poor enough. Basically, it was a way to prove that you were poor enough to receive the help that you wanted. If you were going to work for it, you were going to get it. Quite barbaric. We both have our opinions on that, don't we, Terry?
Oh no, don't agree with it not being barbaric.
It was horrible.
Well, one of the points that we brought up in the conversation was that for somebody who literally had nothing and hadn't eaten for days and days, the people who really needed that help, to walk up to a building like this would have looked like salvation for them. It would have been an answer to prayer. So even though it's, you know, time gone and hopefully we've progressed a little bit since
yes,
then,
we have. I think it's still bad.
You know.
But I mean, look into what you said then. It was the case that sometimes there was something called tramps. You'll see a picture here of a general tramp. You might think of that somebody that's homeless and got nowhere to go.
Like they're normally bearded,
this is
with hair and like,
he's not a tramp. But anyway, he's so these guys would go from place to place looking for work, and they would say on tramp, you know, on the heel or low at the heel, and they'd tramp around from building to building, work to work, looking for work. And sometimes if they'd been on the road for 3 or 4 days, they would do something called casual. So they would go to the workhouse and there would be what they call a casual line. And when the workhouse was full of casuals, which is you do a day's work for a day's sleep, bed, rest and food, and they would wait in the casual line. So you weren't an inmate if you were a casual. But yeah, I've heard examples of people in the casual line speaking all walks of life that you could find yourself there. And like, if you've been on the tramp for 3 days and you're hungry and tired, you would take a rest. People such as hop pickers, travelling blacksmiths, any kind of profession, they might find themselves in the workhouse. So yeah, it was used by the people, and I imagine it was a good thing if you were hungry and tired.
See, now that's the kind of person that I was relating to, somebody who hasn't got that everyday bread and butter.
Yeah, who's not mentally disturbed and actually in a position of pure
and
poverty.
they're in a place where they can come and go each day. But what about
their choice?
What about the inmates? I mean, how do they get to that kind of place?
It could be anything at all. So you might get a gentleman that's passed away at work, a coal miner, and he leaves his wife destitute. So they will basically fall back on the rent. The rent man walks in, he throws them out on the heel. She's got no idea of how to make money. She can either turn to prostitution, but if she's got any morals, she wouldn't do that, and she would go to the workhouse. She would turn to the workhouse, and then they would put her in, which is awful. You know, there was something called out relief, but they tried to walk away from that, and everybody started getting tired with the workhouse. Even people such as that who have lost their husbands, who just couldn't work. So all different kinds of people. And on going in, you would get given a uniform, which is here. You see this kind of design of uniform. You would be stripped of your clothing, you would be deliced, and then you'd be separated. Children into one section, adults, men into another, and women into another. And then there was something also called the deserved poor and the undeserved poor. The undeserved poor would be drunks, it would be opium addicts, it would be people who have fell on hard times because of their mental disposition. And the deserved poor would be infirmity such as old age, sickness, broken legs. You can't work because you can't, not because you don't want to. So they did that kind of segregation of workers, and there'd be different tasks for different people. Some of the tasks we'll go into while we're walking around, because I don't want to do everything now. So should we go and have a look, Terry? Right, here we go, guys. That's not very promising. Old Sibcus tin. Very interesting. Definitely not workhouse. I'd say 70s. Yeah, some usual detritus like a corner fish tank. Fly tipping awful.
We've got some brickwork through the
okay, bit more promising. Obviously people have been dumping over the years. If this is the building, then I imagine this would have been the yard maybe, or there could have been another building here.
I know quite often you find with those really high, especially when they've got shapes with the nettles and the brambles, they're actually growing over walls.
Okay.
like ivy does on a wall. So you'll get those big mounds where you've normally got ruins as well. So we quite possibly find. And looking at one of the old plans, and on the link that you're going to put on the video as well, you can see one of the outline plans. There were, you know, a dozen
I'll
or
put that
so
up now so that
buildings.
this is the plan.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can see the outlines of the buildings.
So there were at least a dozen buildings. So some of them would be, you know, fell to the ground by
And gone by now. I think in one of the Express and Stars articles I've read, it does say that the main workhouse building where the inmates lived, that's gone. Wow. Okay. Okay, so this is definitely contemporary with the workhouse. You know, looking at the building and the chimney there and the depilation of it. You know, it's definitely a bit of graffiti. Wow. Okay, look at this day. Amazing.
So this would have been one of the modern additions with the tin roof.
Yeah, that's 1940s Wrigley tin, isn't it? Definitely.
Yeah. So when this was used as a farm produce packing
Egg farm, was it?
station, yeah. So we've got modern breeze block at the back there as well. So
Egg.
they basically put, yeah, probably knocked a few walls down, reshaped it.
Yeah. Use some of the old timbers from the old building there by the looks of it.
Tin roof. This would have just been like a work shed or whatever.
Oh, that's... Look at the lovely arch there, bricked up. So this must have been some sort of factory. Looking at the floor there, Terry. Look at that beautiful blue brick. I wonder who made the bricks. I'll try and find some with some names on. It must be a local firm. Look, beautiful door.
Look at these doors, these high windows.
Oh wow. Look at them, would have been to let light in. Only one, in such a large window.
If you, so we've got the first door, and then...
That's quite a high one, it looks like the main entrance door.
So that does, yeah.
With this kind of corbel, it's a bit more, but looking at that there,
That's right, yeah.
I don't know, beautiful. Here's a picture of the seisdon workhouse from the main building, which we can't actually see at the moment. If it's still here, I've heard it was knocked down, but we'll have a look. Right, onwards and upwards. Okay, let's not look at some of that graffiti because I think it's going to be quite morbid. This is modern, isn't it?
Yes, so there was
Modern breeze.
There was a picture on that. There's a picture on that page. Which, yeah, got the red brick, modern red brick. And
if you look here, there's a
this
modern picture.
This is the far end of the.
It's like a 1990s library with this kind of floor in that you get in the elevators. You know, it takes me right back to my childhood, going to the Brodial Library. Okay. Let's see if we can find some more old buildings, some older, interesting buildings. Right. Okay, so yeah, so the workhouse I think was a horrible place. Some of the jobs they used to do, they called the workhouse a spike. Now here's a picture of a spike. Now the idea being the spike was used to take apart oakum, which was old rope that was, here's a piece of oakum, picture of a piece of oakum, and they'd literally put the spike in and split the oakum part. Beautiful outbuildings here. These would have been all the workshops where the people laboured in order to get their gruel. The food, the diet was absolutely atrocious. They were lucky to get meat a couple of times a week. Wow, look at this. Unbelievable. So look at these beautiful old buildings and old nail there. Like old sash windows, like kind of steel sash windows. And this here looks like it's double brick, double lined. So it must be something for people to live in. Lovely roof, not tiled. It looks like Wrigley tin, so that must be a later addition. I don't know, I can't see. Oh, I can get in, Terry. Oh my life, look at this. Straight away, beautiful Bakelite. Can you see that? Beautiful Bakelite light fitting. And another Bakelite one on the wall there. Whether it's contemporary, it's definitely like 1880s. Bakelite, an early form of plastic. Wow. It's like a little hovel, like a little living quarters. What do you reckon, Terry?
Interesting. I wonder why they put that up.
I don't know.
It's been fitted. Look, the with the fire, and you know, kind of like moulded round ceiling with a plasterboard and that.
Yes. And smoke damaged.
Well, yeah, from all the years after. But I reckon this is probably a dwelling for like one of the managers.
Yes. along those lines.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at some of these bricks. No, that's not a brick, that's wood. And look at this old fireplace, beautiful, absolutely stunning. Love to see things like this. Absolutely beautiful. Old sideboard, such a British tradition, the sideboard, isn't it? You know, have your good stuff on the sideboard. Imagine it goes back to prehistoric times, the idea of having a sideboard with all your favourite things on. Look at this old wheel, Terry.
Yeah.
It's like an old MG or something.
If you'd had nothing over here, I'd say it was his garage.
Yeah, I'd say this is some of the original glass because it's got that horrible steel in it that would be almost, you know, to stop you getting out as much as people getting in. Yeah, so kind of like a prison. To me, to be called an inmate is a prison. The workhouse test was that test of, to come in, you had to prove you were poor enough, desperate enough to get in. So that was the workhouse test. That kind of Victorian, non-caring, you know, it's your own fault, conservative, you've got to make your own money in this life, and if you don't, you're a mug sort of attitude. Whereas you can't always do that for every case. When you've got a woman whose husband has died, you know, in the Boer War, and she's fell on hard times, yeah, chuck her in the workhouse, you know, brilliant. Look at that there, it's different, isn't it? The window's the shape of the other gables, but that top one's different, it's like later.
Yeah, but no, that is like it looks like an early stone lintel. It could be from any age, I suppose.
But the window's the wrong shape.
Yeah, but I can't see any lintels on any other windows. They're all.
Have we done all the buildings here? Have we missed anything? Because there seems to be a massive one there. I think we've missed something. Yeah, there's documents you can find on people that spent time in the workhouse. I'm sure there are people on this channel. Wow, here we go. We missed something. There's people on the channel and watching this video that would have family members that would have spent time in the workhouse. And there are records on various sites that you can find. Look at that. At some point it would have been a two-floored sash windows with wooden sash. It could be that these windows are later. It could be that it's a more posher design. This would have been more like the place where he wasn't going to escape. So this would have been the manager's maybe. He wasn't going to escape, so he didn't need the thick, horrible steel windows. They were harder to break. He was more genteel. So his windows were sash. They were of the time, 1880s, you know, kind of wooden framed, fine glass. They could see the views out into the gardens by the looks of it. You know, beautiful. Yeah, there you go. So I think this might have been more like the person that, you know, ran the place. Old floor in there that's fell down, wattle and daub. You know, my dream is always to find like a box of tin hiding under the floorboard, and it happens all the time, you know, happens all the time. You'll get, I wonder if this plaster's horsehair. Let's have a look, because the old plaster had a horsehair in it to bind it. This has been plastered on later. Beautiful. Let's look at some of the tiles. Let's see if we can get some manufacturers. Okay, here's one. Rosemary tiles, guys. Anybody know that? So I'm sure this would have been one of the posher buildings, maybe a dwelling place for one of the managers, because they'd have people running them, and depending on who was running it would be a different place altogether. So some managers of the workhouses were bad managers and they would treat their inmates badly. Others were good, you know, they would be renowned for different things. So I've heard examples of people talking, and they've said how this one would allow drinking and gambling within his establishment, and others were very Christian and very tight, and no women, no, you know, in your own rooms, no mixing, no drinking, no gambling.
Two lovely windows here as well, and,
You found it.
A bricked up fire.
Okay, wow. Oh, what a, you know, it's a shame to see that gone, isn't it? And what a strange shaped room.
Yeah.
To have this large gable as well. I don't know if this is later. And look at these beautiful windows, the weight in them. See what I mean about the strength of these? This is more genteel glass, but this is the original glass. This is the stuff that's been put in later, modernish, like 1950s, maybe for the egg factory.
Yeah,
and that's the original stuff, yeah. This wasn't there for looks, it was there to keep people in, and so was these huge, horrible, heavy windows, you know. They're not even sash, they open a certain degree, not enough to fit through. Yeah, beautiful. Can we see these on the original picture, these windows? Let's have a look. There's the picture. Oh yeah, if I zoom in there, actually, you can actually see the shape of the windows. How about that? Amazing. Right, Terry, should we move on, mate? Another little beautiful room here. Quite a big one, isn't it? These like, almost like you find in a storeroom or something.
This would have been one of the workhouses, I would say.
Yeah, definitely something to do with the workhouse. Working areas. With a pick oakum in here, the days they've slaved away in here for little bread and a bed. I don't know, it looks massive.
Oh, it's a.
What do you think?
It's a gutter. Oh, we are.
Really? It's big, isn't it?
If you look behind you, see where it's from.
Oh yes, yeah. So
that would have been where you'd have had. Yeah, you've got
big,
two
isn't
flat
it?
roofs here, like a factory.
Yes, and
you'd
they've
have a
met
gutter
there.
then running
Okay, amazing.
Every several metres, you'd have a gutter carrying the rainwater away.
Amazing.
So yeah, this would have got something like an industrial farm.
Okay.
Is that a wall or a pillar?
Wow, it's just an amazing place, Terry. I mean, you get that feeling when you walk in a place like this, where it's like, it's got that essence. You can just imagine the misery that went through people when they came here under extraordinary circumstances. I mean, I've been through hard times, Terry, you've been through yourself, you know, but we get such a better help today than what they would have got then. I know the guardians were the people that looked after these institutions. They were the people that pushed them forward. So the poor law started in around 1601 with Queen Elizabeth I, and what happened was the dissolution of the churches meant that the poor was no longer looked after by the church because the system had been dissolved, gone. So then the government had to pick it up. Nothing was really done for a while. The poor law come in. And we still use aspects of the poor law today, which is barbaric, and there was what they call poor rates. And the poor rates are basically council tax what we pay today, which goes in to pay for people that can't pay for themselves, as well as other things, as we know. We get the council tax is basically a poor rate. The guardians would receive the money through reverence and things, and then they would then pass that money on to the workhouse managers, and it would be used however the best they could use it. Yeah, the feeling I get when I come in here is one where I can imagine falling on hard times. I heard a story the other day I was reading of a guy that actually said that the workhouse was a place nobody wanted to go. It was a horrific place. And you would be put on the back of a horse with nothing and actually taken to the workhouse to live and to become an inmate. You're stripped of your clothes, your dignity, you're deloused, washed, given a uniform, which is, by the way, if you go home in that uniform without permission, you get done for theft. Various cases of people being done for stealing because they've gone with the workhouse uniform, which is how it became criminalised. So we're criminalising the poor again, you know. We've not come very far in my mind with criminalisation. But yeah, anyway, just that feeling of coming in here and feeling the history, you know, looking around at all these old walls, and each wall's got a chronology and a past. If walls could talk, what could it tell us, you know, of the workhouse and how it was and the system, and it's all here, and it won't be here for much longer. So I mean, look at this wall here, Kelly. Look at that there. How do you feel about the place at the minute, mate? Do you see any kind of chronology of it?
Yeah, it's easy to pick out the modern from the old, isn't it? It's like they've just moved in all of a sudden, made a packing station out of it for the eggs. But yeah, I'm keen now to try and plot it out on some of them pictures of the maps that we've got. Try and get it plotted out to see if we've missed any buildings or if there are any underneath those brambles.
Yes.
And then we'll take a look at a wall now. I've just found around the back there a long garden wall. Okay. So if we can plot where that is on the map, that'll help us as well.
We'll check the detector over there.
Yeah. Do you want to have a walk around there?
Should we do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, we've got a good signal there, guys. Ah. Okay. Beautiful. Just a little coin. You always find copper coins. 1915. So that's contemporary with the site. the workhouse, mate. So we're gonna head off now because we've detected the grounds where we've been given permission today, but we can't actually get anywhere because the ground's quite solid. But it's nice that we found that little coin. Alright guys, yeah, brilliant. Thanks for watching. Just going to do a little roundup now. So we've walked around the site. Really interesting, great buildings. Obviously, if you're going to come here, make sure you get permission. We spoke to some people today that don't want to be mentioned. But yeah, great site, really interesting. Great to see a workhouse that's still actually standing, even though the buildings are very dilapidated and soon it'll be pulled down. There'll be houses soon, like everywhere else, as it's a brownfield site. It will be houses, I'm sure. Lovely to be recording and seen for prosperity. What did you think, Teddy? What's your thoughts on the building?
Oh, mate, some of it should be. There's lots of flies. Sorry about this, guys.
Is it bad?
Yeah. You walk around and wonder why some of the bits aren't in the Black Country Museum.
I know.
But I wonder if it's the nostalgia that they bring of, having a workhouse in a museum. I don't know if there is one up there, but.
I don't know. I think the problem is there's a lot of heritage around which is industrial, being who we are, and it's not recognised as it should be. Industrial archaeology is not recognised. There are mine shafts out there that have got equipment down, and there are 1860s, 70s buildings that are so beautiful in Wolverhampton that are just falling apart. It's not recognised. If it's not gold and silver and over 300 years old, they don't seem interested. The Black Country Museum do an amazing job, but they do cherry pick sites. They look for things which is socially inept and that's needed to be seen and what people want to see. But in this case, it's an old building. It's got some really old parts to it, but nobody's interested apart from us.
Well, the thing is,
and you guys, obviously. Sorry.
It's buried and hidden behind loads of trees and bushes, and there's a dog walking path, and I think people would walk past
and look,
didn't even notice it. It's just a massive piece of history, just hidden in a load of birch trees,
We just love to see it. It's like being an adventurer. Everybody loves the past. We have that connection to the past. Well, we do anyway, don't we? And when I've come to sites like this, it just fills my mind with the past and what would have been and how things have changed. And I suppose I get a sense of belonging from it, like a root, and we all need that. And I hope this channel does that. It connects. Somebody mentioned the other day how they enjoyed watching the channel, and they were from the Black Country originally, but they've moved away now, and they've watched to get that reminisce. The fact it's here and people are interested and we can bring that to you is amazing. And just hope you keep watching, guys, and hope you keep enjoying it. And thumbs up and subscribe, and see you on the next one. There are going to be more videos soon. They'll keep coming, and there's been a bit of a gap. Obviously, I've been really busy, but they're coming back, and we're back. Black Country History Hunter back. See you later.